What's up, everybody? Welcome back to a special edition episode of Hops Geek News, where we are going to talk about Supernatural Season 9, finishing up that season from episode 17 to the finale. Like I said, short special edition episode as we wrap up this season.
Especially because this is also dropping today, September 13th, which is the anniversary of Supernatural. It is the 19th anniversary. Last year, we actually did a Scooby Natural episode because it is also the anniversary of Scooby-Dooby-Doo. Okay.
We did. So, follow us on social media, like, subscribe, share, follow. If you want to support the show, patreon.com/hopsgeeknews, or you can buy us a beer, paypal.com/hopsgeeknews. Let's roll into it. Episode 17, Mother's Little Helper. We get some flashbacks here as we see Henry is back, baby. We see Abaddon take over the body of Henry's gorgeous fellow men of letters. They are undercover as a priest and a nun. Cuts to present day. Sam's investigating some weird stuff that was going on in the town. Turns out Abaddon is stealing souls. Go figure. Sam then meets an older woman who was a young nun back in the day when Henry was in town years before. Sam saves some souls. Dean stays back. Him and Crowley are even more into researching the mark of Cain that Dean now has. However, he's lying to Sam about it because we can never be truthful, folks. And
lying to Sam, does that make me your mistress? That doesn't make sense. It's his brother, Crowley.
That's weird. Yeah, that is weird. So Misha Collins actually directed this episode, and the title was from 1966 Rolling Stones song.
This episode was interesting. I was like going back to Henry. I thought he was really cool, but there was nothing like shocking about it. But the one thing I always wonder, like when their soul gets eaten by like a Mara or somebody, it's like, so when they die, they're completely dead, I assume. Like they're not going to heaven, they're not going to hell, they're not going to purgatory. I assume if their soul is gone, that they cease to completely exist once they're dead. I don't know, but I assume
I don't really know either. That's a good question. I was kind of wondering that myself. But yeah, I mean, it's good. I mean, we're getting there. This is kind of like coming up on the penultimate episodes, right? When we go into episode 18, which is Metafiction, where Cass rejects Metatron's offer because, Metatron's a lying asshole. And because he tried to use an allegedly dead Gabriel to get him on his side. Cass realizes it's bullcrap because when his coat is no longer ripped, good small details, way to pay attention. And the boys then capture Gadriel.
Continuity.
He's not so bad after all, though, because he was creating things to lure angels in for Metatron, but he genuinely like was on Dean's side and things. So from there on, he wants Dean to kill Metatron.
He's really like, just kill me. And Dean's like, wait a minute, you want me to do this?
Yes.
Just sad.
He's Metatron. It's sad. He's working for the bad guy and he knows it. I don't know.
But you got to realize Gadriel lived his whole life locked up and being blamed for like letting the snake into the garden.
True.
Like, come on, man.
Poor dude. Metatron's given Cass all sorts of pop culture references at this point. Metatron and Gadriel escape. That's when Cass notices the mark. Cass then sends out a message for angels as he intends to lead them against Metatron, as Hannah had asked at the beginning of the episode.
So the Hungarian title of this episode translates to Pulp Fiction, which is kind of funny.
Nice. I love that.
Great
movie. But yeah, it's the small details. I like Cass in this season because he notices the little things. Metatron at this point, we absolutely loathe. And then Gadriel, we're like, oh man, he was a good guy. Then we're like, oh wow, he's actually a bad guy.
Kevin. And that's where he lost a lot of people, but he truly thought he was doing good doing it. The guy's just so easily manipulated. But then he also killed his best friend.
True. He was lost. We'll just say that. The man was lost. So episode 19, Alex, Annie, Alexis, and we meet Alex. Jody is trying to help an angsty young girl. Turns out the girl was actually kidnapped by a young vampire family who uses her to bait men so they can suck them dry. Oh, yeah. She is also their food source when she strikes out.
It was not the bodily fluid they intended on losing that night.
No. She's getting one bodily fluid. They're getting another. Now, the boys then come to help. Jody gets messed up because she just always gets her ass.
They always beat the shit out of her. She always walks away in a cast or sling or crutches or something.
Broken nose. Poor Jody gets her ass. They're like, you know what? We're going to beat the shit out of Jody. We haven't beaten the fuck out of Jody in like a week or maybe this season yet. Bring her back. All right. Come on, Jody. Sam
gets knocked out a lot, but he never walks away with like, well, I guess he has a cast one time.
Sam and Dean are scratch free.
Right. Well, see, Sam had a cast one time because he broke his arm in real life.
Yeah.
And then actually he has a sling at the beginning of the next season because he dislocated his shoulder in real life, playing with Kevin in real life. And then Dean did have a cast one time when the Leviathan broke his leg. He said, "A monster broke my leg."
Yeah. And so, at this episode does wrap up very nicely because Alex gets saved and becomes the daughter of Jody, even though she's a vampire. She
First
gets to a vampire.
daughter, but they turn her back. They give her the cure.
They do cure her back, which I thought was really cool. And then she goes ahead and she gets to go
It
live
was
with
sad.
Buddy happily ever after.
Yeah, it was very sad. And we get more of Alex, Annie, Alexis, Anne in the future.
We do.
So the episode title is a play on the title of the 2011 psychological thriller Martha, Marcy, May, Marlene.
Never heard of that one, actually.
Me neither. There's a lot of stuff I've never heard of because I feel like this show's like a little bit like the creators of it are older than I am. So like, which is one of the reasons I like listening to the Supernatural podcast that I listen to, Salt and Burn This Pod, because I think one of the girls is probably just a few years older than me, and so she picks up on a lot of the 70s references, and she tells me, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know that.
Huh, that's pretty cool.
All right, so Bloodlines. This was supposed to be a backdoor pilot.
Oh my God, this one. Yes, we're in Chicago now. There are monster crime families. Not all of them are bad. It's Romeo and Juliet with a werewolf and a shapeshifter. I knew right off the bat that this was supposed to be a backdoor pilot. I called it, and then I asked you, and you said it was. Did not care for that because Sam and Dean are hardly
That's why it never happened.
Yeah,
apparently nobody did.
Nobody cared about this episode. It's so unnoteworthy, and the fact that they would even put it in like the 20th episode of the season is just absolutely insane.
So it's the lowest rated episode ever for Supernatural. On IMDb, it is ranked number 327 with a 5.8. However, to give it a little bit of perspective, Bugs is 326 with 6.8. So it's a whole point. It
wasn't that bad, man.
And Carry On, the series finale, is number 325 with a 6.9. I told you I hated the ending. I am not alone. I know yeah. I'll tell you, when I do the rewatch, I stop. I don't watch the last 2 episodes, and a lot of people don't watch the last one. We will get there. When you're done, we're going to have a whole, let all the emotions.
Whole ass thing. All right.
But the Munster family is running Chicago. We're shapeshifters, werewolves, and Jinn, and there was ghouls were going to be mentioned as the 4th, but we didn't actually see them. I actually didn't hate this, but I genuinely do enjoy mobster movies. Actually, Josh and I are rewatching Sopranos. Had the CW picked up Supernatural Bloodlines, the 5th family was actually going to be revealed as sirens. Ooh. The baby in this episode was actually owned by a fan. I don't know why, but I found that fun fact.
That is kind of fun. My baby was in the show.
I like this 21. More than the finale.
Oh, wow. King of the Damned. Cass. That's interesting. Cass is in charge of some angels. They've captured one of Metatron's angels. It's an angel all out civil war. And Dean eagerly decides to interrogate him, gets a bit rough with him, which, the Mark of Cain kind of tends to do that to a man.
Not Dean's fault, guys.
That's true. Abaddon has gone back in time to kidnap Crowley's son. Crowley calls Dean to let him know he found the blade in which to kill Abaddon with. He needs to meet him, which then he signals to Dean that he's being held captive when he says Poughkeepsie, which is a little town in New York.
But remember, that was what he told Sam to say to Sam when he was in Sam's head. So it's like,
yes,
because the brothers have things that they say, like Funky Town means there's a guy holding a gun to my head. Poughkeepsie,
which is great. I love that.
Being held captive. So yeah, and I think it's so fun when you start to see Crowley kind of more so working.
Pick up on it. Yeah, he's like the 3rd brother, man. He really is. I love Crowley. Yeah. He's my favorite character, hands down. I do love.
Episode title is a reference to the 1935 British film about prisoners revolting against the governor on a prison island.
Hello, Governor.
Gavin, this was a different one than we saw resurrected to find Crowley's bones to get Bobby's soul back. This Gavin I thought was interesting because he seems more weak and more almost silly and just goofy and uneducated. Mm-hmm. Whereas when we got the last Gavin, he just looked like evil and he was like,
yeah, he returned in season 12.
Oh yeah, but that's the same Gavin. But there was years ago. Remember when Bobby when Crowley had a soul? Yeah. But that's now this is because Crowley saves his son.
That's right. All right. So in the penultimate episode, Stairway to Heaven, this is when Tessa shows up. Remember how those angels were killing themselves in the alleged name of Castiel? Well, Tessa is a Reaper. She ends up taking Dean's blade, killing herself. But it looks like him.
She accidentally makes it look like him. Like she's not intentionally trying to frame him. But she's trying to kill herself. And we met Tessa in season 2, episode 1.
And that's when Cass loses all the angels under his command when he refuses to then kill Dean. The 3 of them head to the bunker where Gadriel shows up saying he wants to team up with them because Metatron is crazy. And the episode title is a reference to the 1971 song by Led Zeppelin.
And you're buying the stair.
So why don't
I
you
didn't
take us
think you
to
were
the
gonna keep
finale
letting me
right
sing.
quick?
To heaven. Okay, episode 23, the finale. Do you believe in miracles? The finale for season 9. So the blade is really giving Dean some bloodlust. Sam and Cass take the blade and lock Dean up. Dean then gets sick because he needs the blade and he needs to kill something. It's literally making him ill. Gadriel dips out at this point because Dean tried to kill him. Dean summons Crowley while he's in the dungeon. Crowley and Gadriel get into heaven by using the Wookiee method because Castiel is now equipped with all the pop culture knowledge.
Yeah.
Gadriel then kills himself in Heaven's jail to let Cass
Tough.
escape and because he can't be there anymore. Side note, real quick. In Star Wars Rebels, they actually did the Wookiee method first. So you could
That's
say
true,
that
they
it happened
did.
in Rebels before it happened later in Star Wars. Okay. So Gadriel then kills himself. I just said that. So he even gets a bunch of homeless people to defend him. So this is Marv. So meanwhile, Metatron is pretending to be Marv and healing people while others film him. He even gets a bunch of homeless people, I was saying, to defend him and kill on his behalf, which of course he's loving every moment of that.
Yeah.
Dean goes to kill Metatron, but ends up getting himself killed. Cass, which is interesting too, because Sam then brings him back to the bunker and lays him nicely on the bed. I'm like, that is a full ass grown man, and that is completely dead weight.
Yes.
Cass does break the angel tablet, which seems to weaken Metatron, and he captures him and sends him to Heaven's jail. Cass then learns about Dean, that Dean has passed. As Sam is trying to summon Crowley, Crowley is already bringing Dean back as he places the blade in his hand. And he says, feel how
That
I
leads
And
us to
Dean
the
is
exciting
black
season 10
eyes.
where him and Crowley are doing demon shit.
They're going to go howl at the moon. Like I got Wolverine on my shirt
Yeah.
howling at the moon.
I'm excited. Shout out to Riley. Yeah. As Dean is blaming Metatron for Cass's grace, Kevin's death, and everything else, he says to Metatron, hell, I'm blaming you for the Cubs not winning the World Series in the last 100 freaking years. In 2016, you know what? What's funny about this is 2 years after the episode aired, the Cubs actually finally broke the 108-year-old curse and won the World Series. So maybe Metatron felt a little bad about that, okay?
And then
maybe
Jimmy Fallon and Drew Barrymore were in a movie about it, weren't they?
That was the Red Sox, okay? That was Fever Pitch about the 2004 Red Sox. Jesus.
Yes, I was going to say, wait, that timing doesn't add up.
Before being
I'm
replaced.
I'm really glad I didn't have to wait like a whole summer to watch the next episode because I remember immediately putting on the next episode. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Now, before being replaced with Line of Love by the Miners due to licensing issues, season 1's Route 666 featured Can't Find My Way Home by Blind Faith, which coincidentally was also used in this episode 9 years later.
Dun, dun, dun.
So yeah, that's season 9. That's kind of how it goes. Season 9 was a thing. It wasn't a bad season by any means. I didn't really,
I think 10's better.
I didn't have any qualms with it. I did definitely love season 10 more. But yeah, season 9 was all right. We got some good stuff out of it. Now we get the Mark of Cain storyline, which is pretty rad. Metatron finally gets hushed up and put away, and thank God for that for now.
We can only handle so much of him.
Yeah.
But season 10, we get Demon Dean, we get Supernatural
sexy
musical.
Dean. We do.
Yes.
Yeah.
What'd you think was gonna happen? Yeah,
that's right.
My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. But I mean, the musical. I mean, I have all those songs on my Supernatural playlist. The Single Man Tear. That's all I have.
Well, folks, that was our super short wrap up of season 9. Like I said, let us know if there's
Supernatural Day.
Fun facts that you have about season 9 or Supernatural in general. Drop them to us. We will see you guys soon. Make sure to subscribe, like, share, because we'll be rolling into season 10 here soon if you're a Supernatural fan. And until then, cheers.